Hello friends and welcome back to my session. This is Dr. Priya Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. We have been discussing a lot about tourism and sustainability. We have already discussed a topic which is sustainable tourism development. So today I will take it forward and particularly focus on the benefits and issues in sustainable tourism development. In our session today, we will cover the overview and the introduction to the topic. We will discuss about the importance of sustainable tourism development, principles of sustainable tourism development, benefits of sustainable tourism, issues and challenges of sustainable tourism development, and also we will talk about highlighting some strategies to overcome such issues. To begin with, what is sustainable tourism development? Sustainable tourism development is an approach basically wherein we practice tourism in order to aiming for maximizing the positive impacts of tourism while minimizing its negative effects both at destination and global levels. That means we do everything keeping in mind without harming the nature and also the environment. It involves meeting the needs of present tourists without compromising the needs of the future tourist, and also protecting the host communities and enhancing the opportunities for the future. Sustainable tourism has gained very much attention over the years, as it has served as a way to balance the economic, environmental and social impact of tourism on the nature, on society and also on the financial aspect. So now we will discuss about how and why the sustainable tourism development is important for any tourism of the country. First and foremost, it protects the environment. Sustainable tourism helps to preserve the natural resources, protecting the biodiversity and mitigating the negative impacts on ecosystem. That means it gives certain guidelines in a way that we need to do anything and everything keeping in mind our impact on the environment. If anything from our end is harming the environment, we should refrain ourselves from doing such activities. Also, the tourists who are practicing such responsible tourism should be well informed and educated about their impacts on the environment. The second importance of sustainable tourism development is social and cultural benefits. It promotes the preservation of local cultures, traditions and heritage while empowering and involving the local community. While practicing sustainable tourism, the tourists get a chance basically to know the indigenous community and also to know how to immerse himself in the local culture, traditions and enjoy the authenticity of a destination. The third and very important importance of sustainable tourism development is the economic growth. Sustainable tourism can contribute to economic development by creating various job opportunities, by generating income and diversifying the local economy. Now we will talk about majorly the three principles of sustainable tourism development. The three core principles are environmental integrity, which means that it helps in minimizing the negative environmental impact through various processes like conservation, responsible resource management and waste management. Also, it focuses on which activities can help to reduce the environmental impact, and these together can help in maintaining the environmental integrity. Also, the second is social cultural authenticity. Authenticity means something very real. That means it's not diluted. The cultures and social obligations basically are restored and they are not diluted in any form. The tourist is bound to respect and preserve the local culture and also in fact celebrate the culture of a new destination he visits. He is also meant to respect the traditions and social cultures of the host communities. Rather, he should try to get engaged and also get involved in the activities which are taking place at the host communities. The third principle of sustainable tourism development is economic viability. It means ensuring tourism activities that contribute to local economic development, providing some equitable profits and benefits and supporting the long-term prosperity. That means there should not be any discrimination in terms of profit distribution and also there should be an equal opportunity for everybody. Now we will talk about certain benefits of sustainable tourism development. Definitely there are certain benefits, that is the reason why we are so much talking about and also keen to practice this approach towards development. There are numerous benefits that arise from adopting the sustainable practices in tourism development. Majorly we will be discussing 4 benefits. The first is economic benefits, environmental benefit, social and cultural benefit, and last but not the least the tourist benefits. So number 1 is economic benefit. Economic benefit talks about 3 main core points. First is job creation. The sustainable tourism development generates employment opportunities, particularly among the local community, which helps in contributing to poverty reduction and eradication. That means if there are the local people are getting jobs and they are having options to earn money, then definitely there would be a rise in their living standards and they don't have to face the consequences of being poor. The second is increased revenue. The increased revenue talks about the sustainable tourism that attracts visitors who are willing to spend on eco-friendly and responsible tourism activities, resulting in increased revenue for the destination. We are nowadays also educating the tourists to know about the eco programs, about the eco-friendly buildings, about the eco-chemicals. Also, we are able to tell them that how we can reduce the impact of using other renewable resources to our environment. So they would be very keen to spend also on green things and they become green consumers in return. The third economic benefit is economic diversification, which talks about sustainable tourism encourages the development of diverse tourism products and services, which reduces the dependency on a single industry and promote a resilient local economy. That means not only one particular industry should be benefited, rather everybody, all the stakeholders of tourism, even from the person who are offering services of food and beverage, of the accommodation, of the transportation, even those who are selling any type of handicrafts, also those who are providing some types of activities for the tourists, they all should be benefited and not just one single industry should be benefited. So that will always talk about economic diversification, which is a very important aspect in order to have an economic overall growth for the sustainable tourism development. The second benefits area is environment, which is very important and cannot be neglected. The environmental benefits include the conservation of natural resources. The sustainable tourism minimizes the consumption of resources like water and energy and reduce its environmental footprints of tourist activity. It is very important for us to preserve our natural resources for our future generation, and that's what sustainability is all about. So we should not do any such activity while practicing tourism which is affecting our and causing a very negative impact on the environment, or we are able to exploit all the natural resources and have nothing left for the future generation. So we should not do all such activities. The second is protection of biodiversity. By adopting sustainable practices, destinations can protect fragile ecosystems, wildlife habitats and biodiversity, also ensuring their long-term preservation. This is very important as to balance the life cycles and also to maintain the ecological balance. Protecting of biodiversity is of utmost importance, and that is the reason it is being practiced. The second is climate change mitigation. which talks about that sustainable tourism promotes the use of renewable energy, energy efficient infrastructures and carbon offset initiatives contributing to the global efforts to combat the climate change. Our any action in longer term is definitely going to affect the climate change. Therefore, this is the time we should be very cautious as the consumers, as the tourists and also as the stakeholders, that we should try not to do anything which is causing consequences on the climate change. Next benefit is social and cultural benefit. The social and cultural benefit includes first and foremostly the cultural preservation, which talks about sustainable tourism supports the preservation of local cultures, traditions and heritage by promoting respectful interactions between between tourist and host communities. That means me as a tourist is not expected to offend anybody's culture, rather I am bound to celebrate and respect the culture of the host community or of the destination which I am planning to visit. The second is empowerment of local communities. By involving local communities in tourism, the decision making processes and also providing opportunities for economic participation, sustainable tourism empowers communities to shape their own future. That means they will have a say because they will be empowered. So, they will have their own decision making and they would be able to restore their cultures and will try to have their say in everything that is being discussed and talked about. Next is cross-cultural understanding. Sustainable tourism encourages cultural exchange and fosters the mutual understanding and respect between visitors and locals, contributing to the global peace and harmony. That means there is no disrespect. Also, there is lot of cross-cultural exchanges and understanding among the people around the world. And the last benefit is in aspect of the tourist. This is very important because definitely we are developing this approach for the tourist because it's a tourism approach. So, how the tourist is benefited need to be very much taken into account. So, what are the benefits of tourist? Number one is he will have an enhanced experiences. That means the sustainable tourism offer the visitor a very authentic and meaningful experiences by connecting him with the local culture, tradition and natural wonders. That means he would not be just having any artificial feel, rather he will get an opportunity to immerse in the culture, immerse in the local happenings and the local traditions and be part of that host community. Rather he would have a very meaningful experience as compared to any such experience which is very artificial or just momentary. Also, the second advantage is he will have an access to unique attractions. Sustainable tourism protects and preserves unique destinations and attractions, ensuring their availability also for the future generations to enjoy. If we have anything today, we should not try to destroy it or try to basically have any negative impact on it so that it's not present for the future generation. So, we should do everything in limit and try to restore our culture, our traditions and our experiences also to be enjoyed by our future tourists. The second and the last and very important one is responsible traveling. The sustainable tourism promotes responsible traveling behavior. It creates a sense of personal fulfillment and satisfaction for the tourists who contribute positively to the communities they visit. Also, we enjoy doing things which gives us the sense of satisfaction. That means any tourist, if he realizes that his little actions will be also causing contentment to him or her, then definitely they would love to do it. So, this is what is about the responsible traveling. A tourist should be educated and should be made responsible for his every action and thought, and in return he would be feeling happy for doing so. Now, we will talk about the issues of sustainable tourism development. So, there are certain issues that need to be addressed as, so number one is overcrowding and over tourism. Overcrowding will cause strain on infrastructure. Popular tourist destinations often face challenges in managing the increased demands on the transportation, accommodations, and public services. Therefore, we should not try to overcrowd any destination. We should rather try to maintain a perfect carrying capacity for a destination so that there is no strain, extra strain on the infrastructure. The second thing that will happen because of overcrowding and over tourism is degradation of tourist sites. Excessive visitors numbers can lead to wear and tear on natural and cultural attractions, resulting in their deterioration over the time. So, we should try to limit the number of visitors who are visiting every time a particular destination. The third is disruption of local communities. Over tourism can disrupt the everyday lives of local residents and causing the social and cultural conflicts between and compromising their quality of life. So that what happens at times. However, we talk so much about respecting the culture, loving the culture, and also not disrespecting the local communities, but it does happen, and the people, there are certain conflicts that give rise. Next is leakage of economic benefits. What will happen is limited local economic impact will be seen. In some cases, a significant portion of tourism revenue fails to reach the local communities as it is captured by the multinational corporations or leakages in the tourism value chains. So, not every amount that was supposed to or that was meant for the local community reaches the local community. There in between there are certain loopholes and there are certain leakages of economic benefits for the community. The second is unequal distribution of profits. Economic benefits may not be distributed very equitably and leading to some type of income disparities between the tourism related businesses and also the local population. So, we should not do anything that affects the economic integrity for the local population. Next is environmental degradation, which cannot be ignored or neglected. The overexploitation of resources will be found, which is an issue that has been recently also seen, and unsustainable tourism practices such as excessive water consumption, energy use and waste generation can deplete the natural resources and harm the environment. So, this should be avoided as we cannot afford basically the negative impacts on the environment. Pollution and waste management. Inadequate waste management systems and improper disposal of tourist generated waste can pollute the entire ecosystem, water bodies, and will contribute to environmental degradation. So, any such type of pollution should be basically tried not to spread. Next is damage to ecosystems and wildlife. Irresponsible tourist activities such as habitat destruction, wildlife disturbances, and improper snorkeling, diving, or any such practices can harm the fragile ecosystem and threaten the biodiversity. Therefore, we should always practice such things, such activities with some trained instructors or guides, so that they will guide us that our actions are not harming the marine ecosystem or any other ecosystem otherwise. Last is cultural commodification. What will happen is, due to the issues or overcrowding, basically we will have some loss of authenticity. That means the excessive tourism development can lead to the commodification of the local cultures. They would be diluting their authenticity and transforming traditions into stage performance for the tourists, which should not happen, because nowadays people are visiting the destinations just to have the feel of authenticity, to have very authentic experience of their tourist practices. Erosion of traditional practices. Increased tourist demand for cultural experiences may drive the loss or alteration of traditional practices as locals adapt to cater to visitors' expectations. So, they in the race of just meeting the expectation of the tourists, they might forget and they might erode and dilute their own traditional practices. So, even this should be discouraged. And the last is marginalization of local communities, which says the dominance of external tourism businesses can marginalize local communities, limiting their control over the decision making and benefiting from tourism related opportunities. That means they will have some boundaries wherein they cannot give their ideas or they cannot keep their decisions for themselves. So, there would be also some degradation in terms of decision making of local communities. Okay, so these were the issues. Now, what are these strategies that can be taken into account to address such issues? Number one is we can have a sustainable destination planning in order to overcome the sense of overcrowding. We can have a carrying capacity assessments wherein there should be a fixed number decided for a particular period of time which will control the footfalls of the visitors on a particular destinations. Second is we should have a visitor management strategies. How many visitors, what time should be there, it should be opening time, what should be the closing time, can it be open for 24 hours. These decisions has to be taken under visitor management strategies. And also we should have certain sustainable development plans. There should be no use of polythenes, there should be no such use wherein the visitors are destroying the properties for the future generation. So such plans can be developed wherein we can restore and maintain sustainability at our tourist sites. Community engagement and empowerment will also help. The local participation of the local community, also the tourists can get a chance to engage with the local participants. Also the capacity building, which will help to train so many people in terms of their decision makings, in terms of how to offer their services to the tourist at a particular destination. And we should encourage lot of community based tourist initiatives and activities in order to boost the local community, in order to boost the community based tourism. Education and awareness play a very critical and a crucial role in addressing the issues of sustainable tourism development, which comprises of visitors education. We need to also educate the visitors. Not only the stakeholders or not only the service providers need to be equipped with knowledge about sustainability. Even the visitors or the tourists should be educated. They should have a sense of sustainability so that they do not face any difficulty or they are not hesitant to practice any such things. Cultural sensitivity should be there. They should not disrespect any culture. They should always try to respect and celebrate other cultures. And also the stakeholders should be well aware of what to offer, what not to offer, how to deal with any difficult situations. Nothing can work without any partnerships and collaboration. Therefore, we have full liberty and full choice to collaborate with the public-private partnerships, to have certain stakeholders cooperations, and also the knowledge exchange between different countries, between different communities, and between different business holders basically will encourage to have some different ideas to preserve our local economy and our also the business of tourism. Nothing will work if we fail to monitor and evaluate. So we need to have a very strong impact assessments designed. We need to have certain performance indicators that whether we are able to reach the benchmark, are we able to perform well, how do we know until we evaluate them. So we need to monitor and evaluate, and also if there is any recommendation, we should be always open for an adaptive management, or we should always have a plan B for any type of a crisis management. So now I would like to sum up what we have discussed today. We have talked about the sustainable tourism development aims to maximize the positive impacts while it minimizes the negative ones. The benefits of sustainable tourism includes the economic growth, environmental protection, and also the social and cultural benefits. Therefore, we practice so much and we so much encourage to do sustainable tourism development. The issues of sustainable tourism development can be overcrowding, economic leakage as discussed. There can be certain negative impacts on the environment causing environmental degradation, and cultural commodification can be there, wherein there can be seen that the cultures and the traditions are being found diluted and they are being lost. Also, so what would be the strategies that we discussed? The sustainable destination planning will help. The community engagement, education and awareness programs, the partnerships and collaborations, and also a very effective monitoring and evaluation process will help us to keep a track on our sustainable tourism development programs. So in this manner, we can achieve a very sustainable tourism for us, and also will try to maintain peace and harmony in every sense in country and also globally. So this was all about my session. I hope you enjoyed and had certain learning outcomes. Thank you and have a good day.